I can't understand the sentence. I can't explain it. Don't ask me. Yesterday in the Circuit Court in Limerick, a man was given a fully suspended 3-year sentence. He was pleaded guilty to beating a young woman, Natasha O'Brien, unconscious in an unprovoked attack. It happened on O'Connell Street in Limerick a couple of years ago, and the perpetrator of the attack is a member of the Irish Army. He's a private in the Irish Army, and he has been given a fully suspended 3-year sentence by the judge. The young woman, Natasha O'Brien, worked in a pub. The background is she was coming home from work and she encountered a man called Crotty, who was shouting faggot apparently at some persons across the street. She asked him or suggested that he desist, and he turned on her and he beat her unconscious. He beat her unconscious, and then he went off and he boasted about it on Snapchat. 2 to put her down, 2 to put her out, or some abhorrent message like that is what he actually posted to his friends on Snapchat. When he was confronted then by the Gardaí, he said, lied, and he told the guards that the young woman, Natasha O'Brien, had initiated the dispute, the violence. When the Gardaí presented him then with the CCTV, which showed the story, showed exactly what happened, he had no choice, changed his tune, and ultimately he pleaded guilty. Now, in weighing up the sentence to be handed out by the judge gave him credit, as he's supposed to do, for a couple of things. One is that he had no previous convictions, and 2 was that he had pleaded guilty and didn't put Natasha O'Brien through the harrowing distress of having to give evidence and go through a court case and wait a longer period of time and so on. However, he seems to have given Crotty a huge amount of credit for pleading guilty, despite the fact that in the first instance Crotty had tried to blame the girl, and it was only after the CCTV footage was shown to him that he decided to change his tune and plead guilty. Notwithstanding this, the judge gave him an enormous amount of credit to suspend the 3-year sentence in its entirety. He also made the observation or comment that Crotty would almost certainly lose his job if he was jailed. That may well be the case, but what about it? People lose their jobs all the time. People who carry out appalling, violent, unprovoked attacks on young women, maybe they deserve to lose their jobs. Maybe it's an inevitable consequence of the person's action. Crotty on the night in question was drunk apparently, but that's no excuse. I can't explain the sentence. I could understand a 3-year sentence with perhaps 2 years suspended, or 18 months suspended and do 6 months, or do 12 months, or do 18 months. I cannot understand for the life of me a fully suspended sentence in this situation. The first video I've made about a sentence passed down by a judge. I feel obliged to make this video, quite frankly. I feel obliged to explain, or try to explain, that I don't believe this sentence is proportionate. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's fair. I don't think, and I agree with the young woman, Natasha O'Brien, I believe that she didn't get justice. I think this is absolute nonsense, quite frankly. She lost her job. She lost her job as a consequence of losing her concentration, and as a consequence of the trauma and the mental anguish and stress and distress that she suffered as a consequence of the hammering she got. She was beaten unconscious, only for a passerby. A man intervened, a passerby intervened. Only for that, Natasha O'Brien feared that she would have been, she could have been killed. I don't know whether that's the case or not, but I do know that a man passing by did intervene, and it was only then that the dispute or the violence came to an end. The other thing that I would say about the case is that Miss O'Brien, she lost her job. She lost her job because she was unable to concentrate as a consequence of the mental difficulties that arose afterwards. The judge ordered Crotty to pay €3,000 to her. €3,000. What is that about? The other point that I make in relation to this, what message does this fully suspended sentence handed out to a young man for hammering a young woman unconscious? What message does that send out about violence against women, about male domination, male strength being visited on women? I can't understand the sentence, but I do believe it's open to the Director of Public Prosecutions, the DPP, to appeal the leniency of the sentence, and I certainly hope that he does. I have a mother, I have 3 daughters, I have a wife, I have a sister, and to think that any of those people would suffer the type of violence that this young lady, Natasha O'Brien, suffered, and to go into court looking for justice, and to see this prick walking free with a fully suspended sentence, in my view, beggars belief. I'd get it very, very hard to stomach. I'd get it very difficult sitting around a table then at home, having dinner with my kids, with my 3 girls and my son, explaining to them quite frankly about the majesty of the law, about justice in the context of this case and this sentence. I don't make many videos like this. In fact, this is the first video I've ever made about his sentencing, but I feel strongly about it. I think it's, as I say, inappropriate, and I hope the DPP appeals the leniency. Hope you find the video useful. If you do, I'd appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up button down below, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.